one of the best biopics of this year, if not of this decade, just released in theaters, and that is Tony, directed by Matt Johnson, who has been on a great run, also directing Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and other films such as Blackberry. Really a great movie. Personally, one of my favorite biopics I've ever seen. It was so touching. It was so entertaining. It stars a great cast in Dominic Sessa, Antonio Banderas, Leo Woodle, and Amelia Jones. Really love this movie, and let's get in and talk about it. My first impressions, I was definitely excited for it. It's got a good cast. I'm personally a huge fan of Leo Woodle and all of his roles, so that's what really drew me in to, get up and go see it, especially opening day, which I did. And I had a great time with this movie. It carries so many great messages and such a great story about Anthony Bourdain. Really, moved me to go learn more about him and watch more of the show he made and read his books and learn more about his life. Such a great cook, and it follows such a great story of who he thought he wanted to be in the beginning and where rejection and failure takes him throughout his life and carves a new path for him and all the people he meets and how he really grows as a person. Yeah, the story follows a young Anthony Bourdain as he is in college, and he spends a summer in Cape Cod working in a kitchen, and it really turns his whole life upside down and his whole path and journey to now, by the end, wanting to be a cook and become the Anthony Bourdain that we all know. Characters and cast really amazing. Dominic Sessa plays Tony Anthony Bourdain. Antonio Banderas plays the chef that he is working for in Cape Cod. Leo Woodle plays one of his coworkers and a friend that he takes, somewhat of a mentor at times throughout the first half. Also, working in this kitchen with him. And Amelia Jones plays his love interest, who he actually follows to Cape Cod, and they have a great dynamic and story there. I thought performances were incredible. One of my favorite performances from Antonio Banderas. I thought he was extremely emotional, carried so much emotion, really, got to me, all of his scenes, and so just such a lovable character on screen that you just want to see more of. Leo Woodle, also, one of my favorites. I thought he killed it. He really played such a wild card, and did so many extreme things that really, keeps you on the edge of your seat and, excited and thrilled throughout this movie. Amelia Jones was also great. I thought she had a lot of good moments, a lot of emotional moments. She had a very interesting character. The way her and Tony finally, warm up to each other and, grow their friendship and relationship there. And of course, Dominic Sessa, the lead, playing Tony, he was incredible. I'll be the first to admit, I didn't have the most faith and for some reason didn't, really see the vision until, the movie started getting closer and I finally got to see it. But he was incredible. Amazing performance, no notes. He was very good, very great, very thrilling. Direction and cinematography, I thought so much of that was great. The way this movie was paced, the way the cinematography was incredible. Some of the shots, the color palette, the color grading, a lot of the angles, the music in it was really good. It was so amazing. I'm just at a loss for words. It was so great. I really look forward to seeing it again. Hopefully later this week. Emotional impact. It really hit me. I guess something about the story just really touched me. It's about a kid who is going throughout his life thinking he wants to be one thing and really putting all of his eggs in that basket and believing this is what he's going to do and what he wants to do. And then faced through hardship and through all these events, really finds that there's something else that he might love more and he might feel a bigger calling to do. And it's really about just accepting that, accepting who you are, and being truthful to that, living your own truth, making those changes to really chase what you feel called to do and what you feel you should be doing with your life. And it really touched me, and I loved that part of the movie so much. Yeah, those themes and messages, I think forgiveness and being open, because throughout the movie Tony is a complete narcissist and really annoying to a lot of people, really shallow and lazy and late to stuff, and he grows a lot. There's a lot of growth in it, a lot of coming of age. Strengths and weaknesses of this movie. Strengths, it cast incredible story, the emotion, cinematography, the connections you really make with all these characters and the restaurant and the place, and how much they really draw the viewer in to attach themselves to what they see in the story, and really find something in their own life to compare it to. Weaknesses, I guess some of the scenes towards the ending, I didn't love. It's kind of what held it back from being a 5 star for me. um, Spoiling my rating later a little bit, but there's only so much fault that can go to that because it's based on a true story, based on a real person. Rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. Um, but I guess if that's all it's lacking for me, then no fault of the people who created the movie. Spoiler talk. So if you have not, gotten the chance to see the movie, please click off, see the movie, and hopefully, come back to hear what I have to say afterwards. If you want to just skip to maybe the last, 60 seconds or so to hear my verdict or rating, go ahead. Yeah, there were so many scenes I loved. How he kept Anthony Bourdain keeps morphing this lie of why he's there. Is he still there to be a writer, and the book and taking the pictures for the book? I thought that was really interesting. And at the end, he finally accepts that he loves cooking and loves working in a kitchen. He wants to be a cook. And then going to the Culinary Institute of America right at the end, I thought was great. Leo's character was incredible. There was so many just crazy things he's doing, so many like just rated R activities that he's partaking in. And I enjoyed that he did get brought back in the second half, and I loved the dynamic him and uh, Antonio Banderas' character had, and calling him the Sin Eater, and that balance of sin and Chef, who is a very religious man. I loved that so much, and there was so much tension in the scene where Tony accidentally cuts himself with the knife trying to pop the oyster. Love that tension. I love the tension of, when Leo's character shows up late. A lot of great tension in that scene. The fire scene, when they were out fishing on the boat, catching the tuna. I thought that was really good. So many great scenes in this. It's just incredible. So on to the verdict and my final rating. I definitely recommend this movie. It's got some more serious themes and some more serious things that go on in it. So it's definitely R-rated, language as well. So if you are fine seeing an R-rated movie, I would definitely suggest go ahead and see it. It's currently, I think, at number 7 on my movies of the year ranked. I'm really high on it. There's a couple in that top 7 I want to rewatch though. It's incredible. My rating, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Just the ending not fully sticking and not carrying as much emotion as I personally would have wanted is the only thing that held it back from being a 5. But my good friends who have seen it have given it a 5, so I can understand that. But for me personally, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Incredible movie. Please, let me know if you guys have gotten a chance to see it. Let me know if you're looking forward to seeing it, if you have plans to see it. Let me know what you thought of my review, if you agree with my takes, if you disagree with my takes, any movies you would like to hear me talk about next, any suggestions. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.